If you are considering moving to Southwest Florida, then you are in the right place. A little unusual from my normal video, but I had a couple of things I wanted to share with you quickly before we dive into the awesome community I'm about to share with you. So first and foremost, today we are going to be touring and driving through the monstrosity community known as Babcock Ranch in southeastern Charlotte County and northeastern Lee County. Um, First, an apology. I tried something that I've never done before. And since I was doing so much driving for this particular community, I had clipped my lapel microphone onto my seatbelt. And unfortunately, every time I moved with the camera while I was driving, it was picking up some shuffling noise. I did do more editing than typical to take out a lot of dead spots where you just heard that noise. And I've done my best to minimize it. So apologies in advance if you hear a little bit of that rustling underneath me while I'm talking. Figured I would also share with you just kind of the overall price range for properties and homes within this community. And ultimately wanted to say thanks for watching. So I'm going to jump over. I'm going to show you the prices, give you an idea for type of property, what the general sales price range is for this community, and I think you're going to be really wowed. It is ultimately the most unique community in the United States. And I know that's a bold statement, but it is the first of its kind. I believe at this point, the only one that is completely solar powered and self-sufficient. So truly hoping you enjoy the tour of this community. If you ever have any questions about anything in the Southwest Florida area as far as real estate financing or anything else, I am here to help you. I want to be your tour guide, and I am simply looking to be a connector of people. So whether you directly need something from me or not, feel free to reach out. I'd be happy to introduce you to whomever it is that you may need to speak to based on whatever you may need. Enjoy what's upcoming, and we'll see you again. Thanks for watching. All right, so if you are considering a home for you and your family in the Babcock Ranch community, figured I would give you a quick overview here. So as far as general price range for this community, if you're looking at condos or villas, so let's say an attached single family type of a property, villas, townhomes, that type of property, you can figure you're in the mid 250s, up to 300, maybe a little beyond. If you're looking at entry level single family homes, you can expect to be in the 300 to 500,000 range, mid range single family homes in the 500 to 800,000 range. And when you get into the higher end waterfront and or luxury or estate homes, you could be anywhere from 800,000 up to roughly 3 million, depending on whether you're waterfront, water view, what is the size of your property, and what are the details of the home itself. So I figured since I'm about to do an extensive drive-through of this unique and awesome community, I would at least share with you what you could expect as far as a general price range if this community might be of interest to you. I hope you enjoyed the upcoming drive-through and tour of Babcock Ranch. Make it a great day out there, and thanks for watching. If you are considering moving to Southwest Florida, then you are in the right place. Welcome back, or welcome if this is your first time visiting. Had to run out here today to meet with a client, and I figured I would take advantage of the opportunity and give you a tour of what is arguably one of the most unique communities in the United States today, and that is Babcock Ranch over in the general area of East Fort Myers in the southern area of Charlotte County here in Southwest Florida. Babcock Ranch, at this moment in time, to the best of my knowledge and understanding, is the only community in the United States that is 100% solar powered and self-sufficient. I'm going to be heading to my client's house to take care of a few things that we need to do. But when I get done with that little work obligation, I will be back and I will do some more filming. I'm suspecting I'm going to be doing a lot of driving through, as this place is absolutely enormous. and it is still only in its early stages of development. I was just pulling in right now on my way to my client's house. Figured I'd give you a little overview from one of the entrances to this community, and I will be back again soon. We'll see you in a bit. So, since I am back in one of the neighborhoods within this monstrosity of a community, I figured I would just give you a quick look driving through this particular neighborhood as I head back out toward a main road. About a year ago, I had actually spent a little time in this community. I have a great friend of mine that does custom cabinetry installations, and he needed a helping hand a couple of days throughout the summer last year, and I was out here helping him on a model home new construction with some cabinetry and some other installations, which was a pretty interesting experience since that's not the sort of thing that I do on a daily basis. While this community right now, to the best of my knowledge, is simply a named community, I fully believe that at some point before too long, this community is going to literally turn into its own designated city. The amount of land, I want to say it's somewhere around 76,000 acres. I'm not sure on that, but it's somewhere in that range. It is absolutely enormous, and that entry that I had filmed when I started this video is not the main entrance. I wasn't actually where I thought I was when I started doing that filming, so I will get you a view from the main entrance, or I should say one of them, at some point here along the way. But this is a unique neighborhood to say the least, and it is the only one of its kind that is completely self-sufficient and not reliant on any sort of, you know, delivered electricity, if you will, to the entire community. All right, so this is another one of the entrances to Babcock Ranch, and this one is a little less of a construction entrance, so much nicer ambiance than the one I drove down when I started this video. But I figured I'd give you a view from this side. So if you are into solar and electric and batteries and all of that type of green movement, this is arguably the best community in the United States for you and your family. This place is completely self-sufficient, and I believe it was acquired in 1914, at least the initial land area here, by the Babcock family, who, if I am not mistaken, were in the lumber industry up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I have come into this community through this particular entrance a handful of times, so I'm a little more familiar with where I'm going down here. And at some point, I will get over. There is a full shopping center on site within this community. I figure when I leave here today, I will do a drive-by down Highway 31, and I'll just turn on into this neighborhood because I have been in here before, just to give you a little bit of a drive-by of what this particular community and this little sector looks like. But this place is truly remarkable in terms of the uniqueness in and of itself to itself. Here in the Southwest Florida market and throughout many areas in Florida, There are country clubs and named gated communities everywhere. So whether that is Colonial Country Club or Heritage Palm Estates or whatever it may be, they are truly everywhere. But this particular community is different in the sense that it really is kind of growing into becoming its own city. It has its own school system here. There is a sheriff's office on site. There is a little general store and some other amenities. So if you enjoy running around inside of your own community on a scooter or in your golf cart or whatever your fun little neighborhood transportation device of choice might be, this is some place that I think you certainly would want to look into for yourself if you are considering a relocation to this area. Not too far down the road from here is the Lee County Civic Center, and there are some events throughout the year there, and that is at the intersection of Bayshore Road and Highway 31, which that intersection technically, I believe, would be north or east Fort Myers, and this community is just a few miles north of that intersection. So we are coming into one kind of a little downtown area here inside of Babcock Ranch right at the moment. So my driving speed is going to slow down here in just a moment, but it'll give you an idea of what this community feels like, as it is again very unique. The design of a lot of the buildings in here and the feel to them is a little more, I don't know if I want to say rustic or woodsy. Doesn't necessarily look a lot like shopping centers that you would see elsewhere in the Southwest Florida market. So there's a little on-site grocery store type of a facility, little recreational area, I believe. Okay, yes, there is actually a division of Lee Health right here on site inside of this community. I believe over here, the sheriff's substation is over here as well. If I am not mistaken, this is the high school that we are coming upon right now. There is a performing arts center over there as well. A monstrous lake over here to the left. Recreational play area for families and children over here. And when I say that this place is absolutely enormous, that is not an exaggeration by any means. There are multiple different named communities within this overall community of Babcock Ranch. There are multiple different developers and builders that are constructing homes within this community, and it literally goes on for miles and miles and miles. And there is so much more land that is part of this community that hasn't even seen the light of day yet as far as any kind of development or preparation for development. So this is going to continue growing and expanding, and it is, again, just extremely unique in and of itself for what it is. I am going to go ahead and get myself turned around here. I'm going to pause the recording for now. I'll come back in a few minutes and give you a view of the shopping center down on the other side of town here, if you will. So I'll be back in just a moment. We'll see you again. All right, so at the moment I am on my way to more of the southern end of this community, but I figured I'd just pull into another neighborhood and give you a quick drive-by just to give you a different perspective and a different little community within this overall community. I was looking at a couple notes that I had taken before I headed over here today, and overall, the acreage for this entire area is roughly 91,000 acres, but it is a highly environmentally friendly and focused community. So there is only about 18,000 acres that are going to be developed out of those 91,000. So there is definitely an emphasis on land management and wildlife management and just very eco-friendly, if that is the proper all-encompassing term for the basis and nature of what this community represents. So I'm going to get back out here onto the main road that I was on and continue moving forward and get down to the shopping center facility that is on site here. I figure I'll just give you a couple of minutes of seeing what this place looks like from the inside. And if I am not mistaken, this property actually encompasses 2 counties. So I believe there are homes and neighborhoods in this community that are in Lee County, Florida, and then there are homes and neighborhoods in this community that are also in Charlotte County, Florida. It is situated in a place where obviously the county line is running through this particular community, but it also, again, is that enormous that it takes up a footprint of land in both of those counties. If I'm being as honest as I can, I believe I am headed in the direction of the main shopping center. Yes, I wasn't quite sure. So here there's a Marshalls and an Ace Hardware, a Five Below, and just to clarify, we are inside of a community. This is not out on a main thoroughfare or street somewhere in Charlotte or Lee County. This is inside of this actual community. So Panera, Verizon, a Fifth Third Bank, dental care facility for Babcock Ranch. This place is truly remarkable in terms of what it has become in not that many years since it first started being developed. I'm going to pause recording here, get turned around, and head back in there in just a moment. All right, so I got turned around, and we are heading back into this shopping center district here. So there's a Five Guys as well, and I believe down here to the right, yes. So there is a Publix on site as well, And while this community is enormous, it has been designed, built, and laid out to be very community friendly, prompting community engagement and interaction, and very walking and bike friendly to be able to get around without necessarily needing to hop into your vehicle. So I'll just tour through here very quickly. There is another playground here right at the shopping center. Now, given that this is a relatively new community, it is also constructed in a way that is very hurricane conscious and hurricane friendly. So, if I am not mistaken, all the buildings in this community have been designed and built to withstand up to 150 mile an hour sustained winds. The community itself is elevated to mitigate any potential issues or damage from flooding, and the utilities are underground as well. So I saw a statistic or heard somewhere that when a lot of communities and areas here in Southwest Florida were without power after Hurricane Milton passed through in 2024, I believe this community did not lose power and everyone still had full electricity and functionality inside of this community after the hurricane, which is truly something that is remarkable to even be able to make a statement like that. All right, so I'm thinking that I will take a quick drive through this little community here named Trails Edge. This is a Lennar community, as clearly evidenced on the sign, just to see what this one looks like once we get inside as well. There is extensive community landscaping throughout this entire community, which is not surprising with the emphasis on nature and preservation and wildlife and everything else. So it certainly all goes hand in hand, but it is definitely a vibe and a feel of environmentally friendly awareness. And I truly can't even imagine how many landscaping personnel are needed to maintain everything that is inside of Babcock Ranch. If this is your first time visiting my channel, thanks for stopping by and checking out this video. If you are considering moving to Southwest Florida, be sure to subscribe and be updated when future videos become available, as I will be putting new videos out on a very consistent weekly basis. So if you want to learn more and more about what life is like in Southwest Florida, keep an eye on my channel, and please feel free to share this with anyone else that you know that may be considering relocating or moving here as well. As I've mentioned in prior videos, and as I will mention in future videos, I am bringing you pretty much raw and unedited footage of the areas and towns that wow, that's not going to work. That was interesting. So as I was saying, I am not looking to put a lot of splash and imagery into my videos. If there is anything that you see in any of the videos that I share with you, I am 100% positive you are going to jump onto your internet search browser of choice and you are going to pull up your own research. I minimize my editing, and if you ever catch me stumbling on a word or stating something correctly, I will clarify, but I'm not going to go back and edit that out. This is me. This is real. I am striving to be your Southwest Florida tour guide for anything real estate related that you may need. If you are relocating to this area, and as I was going to say, if you're relocating to this area and looking at purchasing a home in the Southwest Florida area, if you do not have a real estate professional to guide you in your journey, please reach out. I would be more than happy to introduce you to someone that I would be confident can serve you well and take care of your needs. And that would be if you do or do not need mortgage financing. If you are a cash buyer, I would still be happy to introduce you to someone that I have a relationship with and that I know could take care of your needs. If you do need any assistance in the realm of mortgage financing, I have been in that occupational space for the last 29 years here in Southwest Florida and would be more than happy to help you if there's something you need in that regard as well. Given the ambient noise of this dump truck, I am going to turn off this recording at the moment. So I figured I would give you a view driving through the one little section of town here on my way out, just so you could see this from a slightly different perspective. What I can certainly confirm for you from my time spent driving around here today is that there is a healthy amount of law enforcement on site and inside of this community. I'm not quite sure how it is that I seem to be finding myself behind large vehicles. Fire department was on hand as well. I just cannot emphasize enough how sprawling of a community this is, and the upkeep, the maintenance, the landscaping. It is a very unique and definitely sought after community in this immediate area. Certainly can't say that one community is right for everyone, but this community certainly serves the needs of many local homeowners and residents in the Southwest Florida area. There are so many areas that I have seen just driving through here today that when you look around, you truly don't even see homes or development, and it almost feels like you're in some part of a state park somewhere. It's pretty remarkable. Right now, I am southbound on 31, and off in the distance to my left here is Babcock Ranch. This certainly is not all of it. It still continues behind me for probably another couple of miles. We're coming up here on the shopping center that we had driven through previously, but I figured I would just kind of give you a view from the main highway that runs past this community to see what it looks like from out here. The development and the growth within this community is ongoing and essentially nonstop. And given the location here for my ride back to the office, I am definitely going to have to turn the camera on. As I had mentioned in the Northwest Cape Coral Parks video, many years ago, I had played on an adult slow pitch softball team for a local restaurant called Hog Bodies that has, in my opinion, the best wings ever created. I have the pleasure of driving by on my way home right now, so you'll at least get a quick glimpse of Hog Bodies from the outside on the street. We'll see you then. Thanks for watching. And here we are at Hog Buddies, if you're into wings or barbecue, great place to go. Getting more and more difficult to get into in light of the growth in the population out in this part of town, as right here in the immediate area, there are not many shopping centers or restaurants unless you go a few miles in a couple of different directions. So Hog Bodies used to be a very small town, cowboy kind of establishment, and now there have been times we've driven by and the line is out the door and we didn't even have a chance to stop in and enjoy ourselves just due to the volume of people out here in this North Fort Myers and East Fort Myers area. Hope you enjoyed watching. Make it a great day out there. Reach out anytime with any questions, and we'll see you again in the next video. So thanks again for watching. This is Matt Pfeiffer signing off, proudly representing Main Street Home Loans, NMLS ID 296861. I am the Fish and Finance guy. At any point, if you have any questions about anything in this local market, please don't hesitate to reach out. Whether that involves me, a real estate agent, or just a general question, happy to help you in any way that I can. Make it a great day, and I look forward to seeing you again.